The next story we're going to talk about is another kind of short one. And this one is a very, very limited, bizarre disease. It's called Visual Release Hallucinations. It affects two types of people. It affects people who have degeneration of their eyesight, so either it's called by diabetes or old age, or, I don't know, getting poked in the eye multiple times, but not going blind from the first time. It's just every single day a twig hits you in the eye. The other one is a very specific. It's from something called methanol poisoning, which I never heard of, and it most likely happens from drinking windshield wiper fluid. Now, I saw that and I go, how many people are like, blue Gatorade, glug glug? No, that's Windex! But apparently, it's not like in the top 10, but it's a more common than you would think way of killing yourself. Drinking windshield wiper fluid. That's so specific. That's not like drinking bleach or drinking ammonia or whatever. I mean, you kind of have to go out of your way to say, oh man, I just can't do it anymore. Where's the keys to the car? And they're like, no, don't breathe in carbon monoxide. No, what are you talking about? I'm not going to do that. And then you're like drilling a hole. I hate to be making light of it, but that's such a specific thing. Like, why would that be your go-to thing? But it happens, surprisingly, a lot. Drinking windshield wiper fluid. I didn't even know that stuff was toxic. I wouldn't drink it, but I didn't know it could kill you. Anyways, so if you drink too much of this windshield wiper fluid, or you just get poked in the eye multiple times, or you just have diabetes, you can develop visual release hallucinations, or it's also known as the Charles Bonnet syndrome. And this is what you do. It's a set of hallucinations, but they're increasingly bizarre. The first thing is that you'll be sitting there and you'll see an inanimate object. So you'll just see like a stool in the corner. And you go, that's weird. I don't own a stool. And then it's like, disappears. And you're like, Charles Bonnet. Sometimes you'll see people. And I'm assuming they're not inanimate. I'm sure they're like walking by and they're like, hey guys, what's up? And you'll disappear. And you're like, I guess I was hallucinating again. Animals, again, you see animals. Now, what's weird is you might be really seeing real people and real animals. I don't know how you would differentiate those from hallucinations unless they like evaporated or they were walking upside down or something like that. But usually, I guess I should have read a little more in my notes because this explains why you know it's hallucination. Generally, you'll see them and they'll be tiny people. So, like Gulliver. I'm not going to talk about Gulliver's Travel again, but like Lilliputians, like little tiny people walking around, little tiny animals. Actually, okay, so if you took a 6-foot person, my height, I'm a 6'5", but if you took a 6-foot person and you made him tiny, and now he's this tiny guy walking on your floor. If you took a cat, that's how tall are cats? Half a foot? And you shrunk him down, would he be the size, would the scale work? So if you saw a tiny person who used to be 6 feet and now he's 10 inches, and then you took a half-foot cat, would he be also a 10-inch cat? Because it's all hallucinations. Or would he shrink down so he's the same tiny cat next to the person? If there was no person there, would you just see, how cats are tiny anyways? But also another weird thing is that in 1760, they were talking about this disease. They said, they were talking about the tiny people, and then they said, quote, physically impossible circumstances, unquote. Now, in modern times, what people will see with Charles Bonnet syndrome is they will see cartoons. So like Mickey Mouse dancing in front of them, whistling, on the steamboat, whatever. In 1760, would they have seen a cartoon? Do you have to see something for your hallucination to be based on? Would they see, wood carvings? Would they see, just a still image of that's kind of creepy. You're sitting in a room and you wake up and there's just, a still image of a wood carving man staring at you. But that's actually more creepy than the cartoon. But would they see, is it possible to hallucinate something that's based on nothing that you've ever seen? Could somebody, if I was hallucinating, if I had this disease, I may see Optimus Prime and Bumblebee run by in animated form. In 1760, I'm not saying they would see Optimus Prime and Bumblebee, but would they see a cartoon run by them even though they had no concept of what a cartoon was? How does that work? Are all of our hallucinations... I know you can hallucinate fractals and stuff like that, but that's more of a mathematical, scientific thing. And you could say, well, I've never seen a fractal before, but once I started hallucinating, I started tripping out and seeing all this crazy stuff. But could you hallucinate something that you had never, ever seen before? Not like an 8-headed dragon, but I mean like the style. Could someone in 1760 hallucinate a Rob Liefeld type drawing, even though they had no idea of what that would look like? They had no idea of cartoon or comic books or animation or anything like that. Could they hallucinate that? I don't know. Because if humans can create animation, then the animation is something. If humans can create something, then that means the human mind is capable of expressing it. Would a baby know what a cartoon? Could a baby hallucinate a cartoon without ever seeing a cartoon? Because when it sees a cartoon, it understands what it is. Therefore, the brain is capable of processing it. Therefore, the brain should be able to create it itself without having ever seen it in the first place. Does that make sense? When I read that, I thought, that would be crazy. I mean, think about it. You already think you're going crazy. You see your uncle and your dog, they're like 10 inches tall. They're walking through the grass, and you're like, oh, I must be going crazy. And then you turn around the corner, and you see Donald Duck playing a xylophone. And you'd be like, I have no frame of reference for that whatsoever. I've never seen 2D animation before. And here's this guy dancing around. So it's super bizarre. I don't know. But it would fit. That would be physically impossible circumstances if someone was like, no, there was a duck and a mouse and a dog, but it didn't look like a dog. It was tall, but then there was an actual dog there, and the doctor's like, dude, just here. I'm going to size you for a straitjacket and just move on from here. So I don't know. Sometimes it's just a flash of an image. Sometimes it lasts all day long. And watching a Mickey Mouse cartoon for 24 hours I would just put my eyes out at that point. That sounds like the worst torture possible. Sorry, Mickey. You were the boringest cartoon. I'd rather watch like Huckleberry Hound or something like that, and that was terrible too. That was a clip from our daily podcast, Dead Rabbit Radio. Dead Rabbit Radio is available anywhere that you listen to podcasts. It's daily paranormal, conspiracy, and true crime news. If you want to hear the full episode that this clip came from, check the link below. Please like and subscribe. And hit that little bell too, that does some magical stuff. Thanks, guys.